All right, it is 6:30. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I'm so happy to say that I just met two new members tonight before we've even started. So that's great news. Thank you all for coming out. I know there's a threat of rain tonight, so I really appreciate you braving the elements here in San Diego to come out and be with us in person. I'm Kathy Hyatt. I'm the club president. Before we start, I'd like to let you know there are restrooms behind those curtains over there. Feel free to get up anytime you need to. And at this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
Berta Lopez, second.
All right, thank you. It has been moved and seconded. All in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're going to get started with our agenda. And we're going to start with candidate comments, and we're going to exclude the candidates that we're endorsing tonight. So if you're not on the agenda to be endorsed tonight and you're a candidate running for office, please come on up and we'll have 2 minutes from you. All right.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Mandy Havlick, and I'm running for City Council in District 2. I'm a member of this club. I'm actually was the endorsement chair in the 2024 and 25 cycle. So I would love to get your support as I run to represent the district. I'm a mom of 2 teens, I'm Indigenous, and I'm a wife of a Navy combat veteran. And so it would be a privilege to represent our community. We need to get real about our solutions for housing. We need to build deeply affordable units and really get serious about our homelessness policies. One sad fact about San Diego is we don't have enough shelter spaces for those who are unhoused, and we need to do better and get all hands on deck when it comes to those who are unhoused. Those are just some of the things that I'd love to bring to the community. I know the power of community. As you all may know, I'm a survivor of child marriage. I'm a part of the California Coalition to Abolish Child Marriage. And later I'll give you a report. I was in LA this last week. We've got some exciting news coming in the state assembly this next year. So I look forward to giving you that report. But I will be having a coffee this Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon in Mission Beach over at Molly's in Mission Beach. I'd love it if you stop by, brought your list of demands, or let me know what it is that you care about in our community. So if you want to learn more about myself, you can check out my website at mandyhavlick.com. I'd love to hear from you. Again, thank you for all being here.
Thank you, Mandy, and thank you for running. All right. Do we have the timer figured out? All right. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Hayden Gore. I am an 18-year teaching veteran, classroom teacher, father of 2 public school students, and I'm running for San Diego Unified School District's Board of Education District C, which is the coastal district running from Point Loma up to La Jolla and University City. I have sort of 3 major priorities. One is to move as much funding from administrative costs toward the classroom, where we know it has the greatest impact on student learning and success. The second is to continue the work that the district is already doing in developing underutilized district land for student, staff, and teacher housing as an opportunity to address the affordability crisis that's driving students and their families away from our schools and defunding our district schools as well, and also offer our staff and teachers the opportunity once again to live within the district that they serve, given that they are such strong pillars of supports within our school communities. And third, I will be a vocal advocate for state and local ballot initiatives that increase funding for our schools so that we can provide the full panoply of academic, social, and emotional supports that our students so justly deserve. And finally, I'll just say that I decided to get into this race because I deeply care about public education. I believe it is the most radical equity project that our nation has ever undertaken. And like so many institutions that shape our life our lives across San Diego and the nation. It is an institution that is under attack right now. We need to be very frank and honest about that. And given this political environment, I think it's very important that we continue to have board members that are willing to stand up, stand strong, protect and defend our schools from the predations of the Trump administration. So I'm here to seek your endorsement or recommendation of endorsement to the Central Committee. And I surely appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for running. All right. 2 minutes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Andy McNew. I am actually not running for anything. I am here. This is my first club meeting in my official capacity as the campaign manager for Amar Campanajjar, who's running for Congress in CD 48. His top priorities in Congress are going to be to lower costs and expand opportunities, protect democracy, and invest in clean energy and infrastructure to make sure that our homes here in San Diego are affordable and we get protected from the fires and everything. So, sorry, this is my first time doing this. Give me a little grace. He's raised over $750,000 already, and he has endorsements from Congressman Mike Levin, Congressman Scott Peters, Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs, Ted Lieu, Eric Swalwell, Derek Tran, Norma Torres, Luz Rivas, Kevin Mullen, all from California, and then Stephen Horsford from Nevada, Veronica Escobar and Melanie Stansberry and Chris DeLuzio, Pat Ryan, Val Hoyle, and Andreas Salinas. So a lot of congressional support already, and we're really looking forward to getting this campaign running and going now that Prop 50 has passed. Great job, everyone, by the way, on Prop 50. I know everyone did so much work for that. We are really looking forward to working with everyone on this campaign, and I'm really excited for this opportunity and to be leading this campaign. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
I am not running for anything, but I'm talking to you about strikes. So the voice of the working class. We have several coming up. So Sharp nurses will be on strike November 26th through the 29th. So 4 days. I don't have the exact details yet in terms of the hours, but it'll be all of their facilities. So a Memorial, strike, Sharp Memorial, Chula Vista, and Grossmont. And then the other strike, I hear CNA has a tentative contract. So California Nurses Association, sorry, which is the UC, University of California Nurses. So that might not be happening. And the other one is, well, Kaiser is still up in the air about negotiating for the nurses. And lastly, Starbucks. So there are 5 unionized Starbucks here in San Diego County. They started the strike last Thursday. They're supposed to be on an open-ended strike, and I just left a message for their organizer down here, Jack, to give me the details for next week, because they're letting people know one by one which stores. So I was at the Hillcrest store on University and off of Vermont. But all 5 of them will be on strike, and they're asking you to boycott the rest of them for the time being. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. All right, we have a couple of candidates on Zoom. We're going to go to Nicole Crosby. Go ahead, Nicole, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hello, everybody. I'm Nicole Crosby. I'm running for San Diego City Council District 2 because I care deeply about our community. I live in Claremont with my husband, Josh, and our 8-year-old daughter, Audrey. And together, we are all going to work to create housing solutions targeting affordability so we can keep kids in our local schools and seniors in their neighborhoods. Growth is essential and it's inevitable, but we need to make sure it's focused on community sustainability, improved wage growth for lower earners, and make sure that there's transportation, deliver transportation that's affordable to every neighborhood and prioritize that. Public safety, spending our dollars to focus on safer streets and making sure that homeless. They have access to appropriate housing and supportive services, including behavioral and mental health services, and then protect families and kids from gun violence and abuse. I've done the work. Currently, I'm a deputy city attorney in San Diego where I civilly prosecute slumlords and owners of substandard housing. I've previously supervised a large prosecution team, and I've personally prosecuted hate crimes, domestic violence, child abuse, elder abuse, and gun crimes. I'm a longtime union member, and I've sat at the table negotiating contracts for almost 10 years. My fellow neighbors elected me to be president of the Claremont Town Council, and local parents chose me to be the president of the Holmes Elementary School PTA. I was also elected by our local Democrats to vote for the 78th Assembly District, and I represented the 51st at the Democrat National Convention last year. You know, many years ago, this was one of my first clubs that I participated in, and I think it's really important for someone who has a very diverse, deep professional background in order to represent us and, you know, renew the confidence in our community. So I look forward to speaking to all of you and earning your support. Nicole Crosby, NicoleForSanDiego.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole, and thank you for running. All right. Yes, thank you. Do we have any elected officials or their representatives in here tonight? All right, seeing none, we're going to go on to our program, which is Doug Case. Doug is going to give us updates on the Commission of Police Policies, Practices, Police Practices. All right, come on up, Doug. We're happy to have you with us tonight.
Okay, and joining me tonight is Bonnie Benitez, and Bonnie is the first vice chair of the commission. Unlike what the what the slide says, I demoted her inadvertently. And I think a lot of you know about me. With the commission, I served on the predecessor organization, which I'll talk about briefly, the Community Review Board on Police Practices, and served on that from 2011 to 2020 when the commission was established. And then I was on the interim commission, and then I got appointed to the permanent commission. Bonnie, in addition to being the first vice chair, is the executive director of the Consumer Attorneys of San Diego. Did I get that correct? And a couple of housekeeping things. We have a sign-in sheet, which we'd like for you to sign, everybody to sign, at least with your name, because we're keeping track of how many people we contact in our outreach. And then we have a copy of the PowerPoint. And this will vary a little bit different from what you see on the on the screen tonight because I customized it, and this is the standard one that the staff developed for all presentations. And then finally, I'll pass this around. We have a flyer about the upcoming community roundtable we'll be doing. So okay, there we go. And so, sorry. And the Commission on Police Practices, which is sometimes referred to as the CPP, is a civilian oversight body for the San Diego Police Department. And it's independent of the mayor, the police chief for the police department. And we have investigatory, review, and auditing powers. And I'll talk a little bit about what that means. There we go. Oops, I went too far. There we go. There we go. And our mission is to hold law enforcement accountable to the community and to increase the community trust in law enforcement, resulting in increased safety for both the community and law enforcement. And then a real brief history of the organization. And how many of you are aware of the Sagan pin incident that happened in 1985. I only see one hand here, which kind of surprises me. So I guess many people in the room are either young or new to San Diego, but that was kind of our Rodney King incident. It involved a young African-American who was involved in a traffic stop because the officers thought that he and his passengers were part of a gang. They were not. And a argument ensued, and they pulled him out of his truck and started beating him. And he grabbed the gun from one of the officers and fired it, killed that officer, wounded a ride-along, and then he, as he was leaving, he ran over the other officer in the patrol vehicle. And his defense was self-defense and police brutality, and he was acquitted of murder and of manslaughter, and that created quite a bit of controversy in the city, and it resulted in a trial that captured the attention of the community for about a year. And as a result of that whole incident, the department decided to decided to do something to improve police relations. So they appointed a committee, and the committee recommended the establishment of a civilian oversight body. And the one that was proposed by the ACLU and supported by the city council was one that had investigatory powers, where they could do independent investigations. And measure on the ballot, which limited the role to just reviewing investigations that have been done by internal affairs, but not allowing them to do their own investigations. As it turned out, both of them passed easily, but the one that was supported by the POA got a few more votes, and so that was the one that went into effect. And then in 2012, a group in San Diego called Women Occupy, who were part of the Occupy movement, began advocating for a reform, and finally were able to get the city council to put on the ballot in 2020. The initiative was called Measure B, which created the Commission on Police Practices. And that was approved by 75% of the voters in 2020. I think it was endorsed by this club, amongst many other Democratic clubs. And since then, we established the Office of the Commission on Police Practices in 2021. And 2022, the City Council, after a lot of discussion and many meetings, adopted a implementation ordinance. And then it took them several more months until August of 2023, when the permanent commissioners were seated, and that included Bonnie and me. Some of the highlights of Measure B is that it gives the commission has the ability not only to review the cases, but they also have the ability to independently investigate cases. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay. And just hope you can just follow on here. Okay. Oh, so I skip. Oh, I'm sorry. The white one, the white button.
Sorry. No instructions. I'm just.
No, you want to go back one. Oh, you go back one.
Should be highlighted.
That's top. Okay. Yes. Thank you. So we can do independent investigations, and we have the duty to do independent investigations of officer-involved shootings and in custody deaths. We also have the discretionary ability to do independent investigations of other categories of cases. We have our own independent counsel. The CRB, the former organization, was represented by the city attorney's office. And so we're now independent of that. We have the ability to review all of the SDPD policies and procedures. We're required to review all of the misconduct investigations of the police department. And we have the ability to make discipline recommendations when there is a sustained finding. And the old CRB and currently ourselves only had the ability to review discipline after the fact, to comment on it, but we couldn't make recommendations. And you'll see there the note at the bottom says that some of these authorities we have not been able to do yet because our procedures have to be approved by the city council, and the city council has to go through a process with the Police Officers Association called Meet and Confer, where they get the chance to comment on those procedures. And it's a very complicated process. And we're told that it takes probably 18 months, and we're like 5 months into it. And so it's going to be at least another year before we have the ability to do all the things I just talked about. And then next slide is the composition of the commission. We have 25 commissioners when we have all the seats filled, and they include 9 who are representing the 9 city council districts. We have 9 at large. We have 5 from low to moderate income areas, and that means they live in census tracts that are low to moderate income. It doesn't refer to their own income. And then we have 2 youth representatives aged 18 to 24. And some of the qualifications are all the members must be residents of the city of San Diego. Law enforcement, members of law enforcement and their immediate families are not eligible. And members must pass a background check, but having a criminal history doesn't automatically disqualify you. There are some crimes that do, but we want to have people who have been involved in the justice-involved system serving on the board. And if any of you are interested in serving on the board, you can go to our website, which is sandiego.gov/CPP, and there is a button there to apply. And also on the handout that you have, there are some QR codes for some of the things that are on our website. The next one is how to file complaints. Filing complaints is easy, and there's many ways to do it. You can file complaints with us or the police department. We give our complaints to the department to investigate, and the ones they receive, they give to us. Through the department, you can do it at the scene. You can ask for a sergeant to come and you can make a complaint at the scene. You can go to any of the substations. You can go down to the headquarters. You can also do it on their website. And you can do it by emailing the department. And the same thing holds true with the commission. You can also fill out a form on our website. And you also can email us, or you can make an appointment to come into the office to make your complaint. So there's many different ways to make a complaint. Next slide. In terms of being involved with the commission, you're welcome to attend our monthly meetings. We meet twice a month. The first meeting of the month, which is on the first Wednesday, is our regular business meeting. And the second Wednesday of the month is when we do our closed session review of internal affairs cases. But we have a section at the beginning of that meeting where we have opportunities for public comment. And so you can make public comment at any of these meetings, and we also stream our meetings, through Microsoft Teams, and that link is on the agendas, and you can find our agendas on the website. And I also want to point out and the flyer that I passed around, which announces a community roundtable and discussion where we're seeking community input on the commission and what you think the commission should be doing. And that's going to be held on Monday, December the 8th at 5:30 at the Malcolm X Library. And so I mentioned that we have the ability to review all of the policies and procedures for the San Diego Police Department. We made a list of things that the community has expressed concern about. I'm going to go to the next slide. I'll point to his laptop. Okay. And so these are ones that the community have brought to our attention, often through public comment, or ones that we have seen through our review of cases that we think need to be reviewed. And the first one, which I'm going to talk about momentarily, is vehicle pursuits. And that was the first big issue that we took on. The next issue is pretext stops. Anybody here know what a pretext stop is? Michelle, tell us what a pretext stop is. Oh yeah, give her a. Oh, give her. No.
You should know better than that.
Sorry, you're right. I'm always the one that asks for a mic. Pretext stops is when they really don't have a reason to stop you, but they'll say, they'll say that they're suspicious of something, but it's not anything that's like that they can actually legitimately show that, for example, that your tail light was out or your license plate light was out or any of those kinds of things, but it's not for a real reason. And most what people feel, what I feel, is that mostly those are racially or at least it's that they just think that you are a criminal because you're whatever prejudices they have. Yeah, that was
Okay, that was a pretty good. A pretext stop is when they use usually a traffic violation. It could be an equipment violation like a tinted windows, or it could be something like having your stopping across the limit line when you go to a stop sign or red light. Your wheels are supposed to be behind the line. If your wheels cross the line, you're in violation and they can stop you for that. But they're not stopping you because they want to ticket you for the traffic violation. They're stopping you because they are suspicious that you may be involved in some type of behavior, and they want to find out who's in the car, see if there's any warrants, and see if they can do a search of the vehicle. And as Michelle mentioned, most of those stops involve people of color, and so that's why it frequently is called, driving while black or driving while brown. And it's a major issue. If you go to Southeast San Diego and you were to come to a meeting like this and ask how many people have been stopped for a traffic violation, and almost everybody in the room, especially all of the black men in the room, would raise their hand. And you ask how many people have been stopped multiple times, you'll see almost as many hands go up. And so it's been a big problem. We recently made recommendations on the protest policy, and you can find those on our website. Some other ones we have coming up are the use of canine dogs. You may have seen some of the incidents that have been in the news. The fourth waiver searches. You may know what a fourth waiver search is. Michelle doesn't know. Anyway, a fourth waiver search is you're waiving your Fourth Amendment rights. And so somebody who is on probation or parole, usually as a condition of probation or parole, they sign a waiver which allows the police or law enforcement to stop and search them at any time. And so they're trying to stop people in pretext stops, and they ask, are you on probation or parole? And if so, that gives them the authority without consent to search their vehicle. Other things are de-escalation tactics. The Special Operations Unit, which is the unit that does most of the pretext stops, and then enforcement of the anti-bias policy. And going back for a second, I just remembered something I forgot to mention. In addition to the commissioners, we have a staff, and you may have seen on the news tonight that the city council is interviewing candidates for the executive director, and they probably have selected somebody by now, but we don't know who it is. The city council makes the appointment of our executive director, but the commission, but the executive director reports to the commission, and so they are an at-will employee and they serve at our will and direction. So I mentioned, go to the next one if you can, to the vehicle pursuits. So the first issue we looked at was vehicle pursuits, and some interesting facts are that half of the vehicle pursuits on the freeways exceed 100 miles an hour, and on surface streets, 15 to 20% of them are over 80 miles an hour, and 20% of the pursuits result in a collision, and 75% of those collisions result in injuries. And so you can see they're very dangerous. And it's our belief that police pursuit should only be initiated when officers reasonably believe that the danger to the public created by the pursuit is less than the potential danger to the public if the subject is not immediately apprehended. And so next slide, we recommended that the department limit when they can initiate a pursuit. We discovered that well over 60% of the pursuits were initiated for a infraction. And the issue that brought this to our attention, and I'm sure you saw this on the news, was a vehicle pursuit that resulted in the death of 2 young boys. The vehicle they were pursuing, the vehicle ran into a car on the freeway off-ramp, and in that collision, the car caught on fire and 2 young boys were killed. That collision, that pursuit was started because of a headlight out. And so our recommendation is that they only initiate pursuits, they not initiate pursuits for minor things that don't cause a immediate danger to the public, including minor equipment violations, minor traffic violations, property offenses like automobile theft, and traffic violations. They would be able to pursue under our policy, our recommendation, a drunk driver who was driving erratically and posed a danger. But beyond that, they would not be able to pursue people unless they posed an immediate danger. As you see in red there, unfortunately, the police chief rejected this recommendation. We are only a recommending body. We can't order the police to do things. And the rationale given by the police was that we can't let bad guys get away. And we'll take questions at the end. But go on to the next slide. We made several other recommendations, which I won't get into because of time. But they included a recommendation that they establish a vehicle pursuit review board to review pursuits after the fact. And that's one that the department said that they're looking into. They haven't agreed to do it yet, but at least they're looking into it. And I think that brings us to the end to do questions. And so Bonnie will come up here and join us as we do questions.
Hi, Doug. Thank you so much for this presentation. I appreciate the work and you informing us of the work that the commission does. Back to your conversation about police chases. This last week, I don't know if you all heard about the chase that originated in Ventura County and ended with the car crossing the border here. What protocol from county to county when there are types of chases coming through? Do you get alerted of that? Do you get discretion to ask that they stop, or do you join in? And by you, I mean the STPD. So
yeah, well, I think the pursuit is done by the initiating agency. I'm sure they coordinate with the jurisdictions they go through,
going county to county, is that typical practice?
Well, I'm not sure we think that it should be, but there are some that go over long distances, and oftentimes they're trying to get to Mexico, and the longer they are, the more dangerous they become. Yes. I'm sorry. She has the mic there. I'm sorry.
Doug, we have a question from the chat, Bertha Lopez. Is this information that you've given, or the information, is it written in other languages on the website?
Okay. You know the answer to that?
We have a commissioner that is working with our staff to make our website multilingual. The first place that they wanted to work on that was in the complaint process. But I don't have an answer, but we can find out and get back to you, or somebody could contact the Office of the Commission on Police Practices directly to ask about multi-language accessibility with our website. The police department does, as a result of some of our recommendations.
Doug, what's the composition of the commission? Are there enough people there, like who always get caught? If they're black people, brown people? What's going on?
We have a fairly diverse, board. We're not completely full. We currently have 21 of the 25 seats filled. The ones that are vacant are District 8, one of the youth seats, and 2 of the low to moderate income seats. Appointments are done yearly or when vacancies arise. There is, as I said, you can go on our website to apply, and we're always looking for new people. It is a fairly time-intensive thing. We say that the average commissioner probably spends 30 hours a month, maybe. And so there's also a lot of turnover as a result of that.
So I was stressed when what seemed like a very reasonable recommendation was rejected. And does that mean that the measure itself did not provide the commission with teeth to actually implement what would be reasonable actions?
So when it comes to policy recommendations, the department sets its own policy. We review those policies and we make recommendations with regard to changes that we believe are safer for the communities that the department represents. I want to say in the 2 sets of policy recommendations that we have put forward to the department, the majority of those recommendations were accepted. This particular one, I think you can probably tell, is a bit of a sticking point for us. SEPD is a bit of an outlier in the state of California with regard to permitting vehicle pursuits as a result of things like infractions. But in terms of teeth, it's questionable what kind of teeth we will have once we're fully up and running and meet and confer is complete. But when it comes to recommending policies, we will always be a recommending body.
We have a question on Zoom from Lori Saldana.
Let me just add to that. Most oversight bodies don't have the authority to make policy. There are a few police commissions that have that authority. Most of them just have recommendations. Like, we can't make discipline, we can recommend discipline. And so our authority basically comes from our ability to have credibility within the department. And going back to the vehicle pursuits, I might mention that our mayor supported the position of the police chief, to my disappointment. And if you're disappointed in that, you can let him know that as well. And so the question online?
Lori.
Yes, thank you. So I've been at a few presentations and I've heard that some of the outcomes can be discipline or they can be training for the officers after there's a complaint or a question about something that they do. But the public isn't made aware of discipline because it's considered confidential. And we're also not made aware of training changes, even if those training changes are recommended and could improve the outcomes. So how much information does the public actually have access to if someone files a complaint and there is either discipline or training as a result of the complaint that's been filed and investigated? Thank you.
Yeah, you're correct, Lori. And most of the outcomes of investigations are confidential according to the Police Officers' Bill of Rights, which is in California law. But there have been some changes to the law in recent years, which make some of those documents public. One was SB 1421 a couple of years ago, which makes things like officer-involved shootings, incidents that result in bodily injury, serious bodily injury, and sexual assaults. There's a whole category of things, and those investigations are now public, and you can find them on the police website. But unfortunately, because of California's confidentiality laws, we can't, we don't have the ability to share with the public what the outcome was in terms of the discipline or the training.
Hi, good evening. Hi, Doug.
And
And I'm not sure if you covered this, but I'm curious about the use of the surveillance cameras around the city and whether or not that data is accessible by the federal government.
okay, that is not something we have made a recommendation on because there was a separate board, the privacy board, that's looking in, makes recommendations regarding a technology in the police department. I do know that the data from those license plate readers is not supposed to be shared with any federal agency. It was discovered recently that was violated, and our understanding it's been corrected, but it is a concern of many people for obvious reasons. But the department is not allowed to, for immigration matters, cannot collaborate with federal agencies, and the contract that they have for the police readers do not allow the company that collects the data to share with federal government, but apparently there was a breach of that contract, which I'm told has been corrected.
So Doug, I want to make sure that this is an understood thing, that when that data from the license plate readers is collected, we have a lot of local officials who have said, we work so hard with our police departments and they're not going to share that data. But what's not understood is that data is not owned by the police departments. It goes, all of these license plate readers, most of them are Flock readers. And Flock is the one who collects that data and owns that data. So if that data is shared, Flock owns it to share it.
Well, that's not quite true. Is the department still owns it, and the contract they have doesn't allow that to be shared.
It doesn't allow it to be shared, Doug. But the thing is, if Flock gets some kind of a demand from the local from the federal government, then they will satisfy whatever that demand is.
No, I understand that concern given our current administration. One thing that is part of the ordinance that our local folks, I forget the name of the organization that work with the city on developing the ordinance, but there's a lot of restrictions on the use of that data, and there's only certain people who can access it, and they only keep the data for a short period of time, and so there's a lot of safeguards in that, but your concern is one that I've heard from other people that is valid.
You said that the police chief rejected your recommendations because we can't let bad guys get away. Is that correct? Is that what you said?
That's essentially what he said. You want to, yeah.
Something along those lines.
He said that if the bad guys know we have these restrictions and they know that they can just speed away and we're not going to chase them and therefore we're not going to implement this policy.
Okay. So am I correct that you said that the chase that began with a taillight out resulted in 2 children being
killed? Yes.
Burned in a car? I am so horrified by that. That's not a bad person trying to get away. That's a person that may not have even known that their back light was out. Is there any follow-up by the city or by the police department in a case like that? Who's responsible for those children?
Right. So just to be clear, the vehicle with the headlight out that was being pursued by the police got into an accident with a uninvolved vehicle that had the children in it. Nonetheless, I believe that there's a civil lawsuit currently against the city, which is another issue with regard to people being injured and the cost to the city. I wanted to answer, and thank you, the question that was online, and that is that our website is available, it looked like, in about a dozen languages.
Then one more thing with regard to, I just lost my train of thought. Hold on a second. Oh, you asked about who's accountable. The individual who was driving that car was just recently convicted of murder. Yes, headlight out. Right. And we don't know why he was, it's a long story, but he had a suspended license. I don't know why, if that was the reason why he was evading the police or whatever, but he was the person who was felt accountable. There probably is a civil suit against him. There's a civil suit against the city. I think I won't make any predictions on that, but I think, yes.
Hi. So a couple of things. So is there a further process if it's rejected that people could do to voice a concern that your recommendation has been rejected? And has there anything been done about responses to sexual assault and the process there? I know there's a lot of concern about rape kits being processed, and also responses to mental health concerns, somebody who's in a mental health crisis and sending police.
Okay. I know that the city is up to date on the rape kits, and we have the ability to investigate sexual assault by police officers, but we haven't seen one come to us yet. And once, and I'm sure that you're asking about, but we do have the ability, if there's sexual harassment or sexual assault by a police officer, that's something that we have the ability to independently investigate once we go finish the media confer.
She's asking
Right.
what the process they go through.
As you can see, we have a long list of policy areas that we, as a group of volunteers, are going to address with the department. And I imagine that at some point, the processing or the handling of rape and sexual assault will be added to that list.
And can I remind you not to speak unless you have a microphone, because our friends on Zoom can't hear. Hello, Andrew.
A really great presentation. I want to turn back to the police readers. Two quick questions. The first is, you stated the contract with the people who have the data from the police readers, that says that they can't share that information?
Well, it says they can't share it with the federal government. It is shared by law enforcement agencies within California. And oftentimes that's how they get an awful lot of stolen cars that are recovered as a result of the license plate readers. The license plate readers have been responsible for locating several people who have been involved in kidnapping and so forth. And so there is collaboration and sharing of data with other police departments within the state, but there is a prohibition against sharing that information with the federal government.
So the question I would ask then is, and this is a state contract, I'm assuming, not a city contract?
No, it's a city contract.
Okay, and does your commission have oversight over that? And if they do violate that by sharing it with the federal government, are you empowered to suspend the contract or break the contract with them or make that recommendation?
I think we have the ability to oversee, their practice, but we don't have the ability to take actions. So, we can't, we can't sanction the department. We can only make recommendations, but we do have the ability to do that. But as I said, the Privacy Advisory Board probably would take the lead on that. And the City Council's Public Safety Committee just last week voted to renew the contract.
I have a couple of questions. Number one, I've heard over and over again that the license plate readers have solved crimes and they're used for public safety. If public safety was really a concern, there would have been no backlogs on the rape kits. All right, that's one point. The other point is, didn't Javier Becerra have some kind of action recently against Flock?
Yeah, that I don't know, but it wouldn't be Javier Becerra because he's not in office. It may have been the Attorney General Bonta, but
just to confirm, yes, correct. It was Bonta. And to Indranil's point earlier as well, El Cajon City Police Department and the mayor of El Cajon have said they will willingly share the data with the federal authorities until some judge tells them not to. So if data is being shared within California to the El Cajon Police Department, it can then very easily make its way to authorities that it's not meant to go to.
All right. Do we have any more questions, or we'll wrap up this portion? We thank you so much, Doug, for
thank you for the opportunity
for coming in,
to be
and
here.
thank you as well. Really appreciate it. All right, that was great, and thank you all for your questions and for remembering to speak into the mic. All right, we are going to move to our Zoom screen because our endorsement chair is coming to us via Zoom tonight. Her name is Stephanie Wells, and I'd like to start out by thanking Stephanie for all her hard work. Doing an endorsement involves a lot of emailing and tracking questionnaires and videos and inviting candidates and so forth. And Stephanie's done a wonderful job of that. So thank you, Stephanie, for stepping up to take care of all that for us tonight. I'm going to throw to you now, and we're going to get on with our endorsement consideration for San Diego City Council District 8.
Okay, thank you. And it took a team to get here. So thank you everybody for your help. So yes, we are having our first endorsement consideration tonight for the San Diego City Council District 8. The candidates in this race are Antonio Martinez, Venus Molina, Rafael Perez, and Gerardo Ramirez. So the process here is going to look a little different tonight because of a conflicting endorsement meeting at another Democratic club and the possible storm. We adjusted our format to make sure the process was equitable and fair for all the candidates. We did not want any candidates to be disadvantaged by geography, weather, bad Zoom connection, and the other club schedule. So this just was the way to make it equitable and even for everybody. So for this race, each candidate was given the exact same opportunity to submit their questionnaire, their resume, and a 5-minute video specifically for this endorsement process. So all 4 candidates received the same instructions and deadlines. Okay, so for the sake of fairness and consistency, we are not going to take live questions for this race. If any candidate or campaign representative is present, they are welcome to observe, but no one will be speaking on behalf of any candidate, including their surrogates. This is the way that we're going to keep the candidate evaluation based on the same materials, their questionnaire, resume, and 5-minute video. So all ballots were emailed with the resume and questionnaire. Our members do not have to be present to vote at this meeting, but if you were eligible to vote, you should have already received your ballot. And then follow the instructions on that ballot, and they are due at the conclusion of this endorsement process. So now we're going to go ahead and play the candidate videos. Each video is up to 5 minutes, and please hold comments until after we've watched all 4. And John, I will pass it over to you to play the videos.
and I'm running for San Diego City Council District 8. I'm proud to be a lifelong resident of District 8. I'm also proud to be the first in my family to graduate from a university. I remember after I graduated, I made a promise to myself that I'd come back and make my community better and dedicate my life to helping those in need. And I've done just that. For 11 years, I worked in a community health center where I helped tens of thousands of families get access to affordable health care. For the last 6 years, I've worked for Congressman Vargas, where I've helped thousands of families get access to federal resources as well as assistance with federal agencies. I've been on the school board in San Isidro since 2012 to create an environment so that all our kids have the opportunity to succeed. Now I'm going to run for city council, and I'm running for city council because District 8 and the residents of District 8 have been neglected and shortchanged by the city of San Diego, and I want to make sure we change that.
I also now want to welcome everyone to my home today in San Isidro. I grew up in this house, and I have to say that it motivates me to run knowing that we're going to be helping the communities that I call home. Bottom line is, and I'm going to go into specifics in terms of what we need to do to fix our community. We talk about infrastructure, recurring maintenance. A lot of the things that our community members ask for in District 8, other communities take for granted. Whether it's basic sidewalk repairs, pothole fill-ups, but something as big as the floodings that happened in South Crescent Shelltown, where families lost everything because of that. Floodings that could have been prevented if the city did its job, including Choyas Creek. We could talk about public safety. There's some communities in District 8 where you can't even walk the neighborhood. It's unsafe. For me, that's unacceptable. And we talk about just basic economic development in District 8. If you look at our main thoroughfares, and for any of us who've ever crossed the border to Tijuana, San Isidro Boulevard, if you go there right now, is a ghost town when it should be booming. So we talk about all those different things, and I want to make sure that we as a community get our fair share. I'm also proud to announce that our campaign has been endorsed by over 30 elected officials. Supervisor Paloma Aguirre, State Senator Steve Padilla, 3 council members in Chula Vista, council members in Imperial Beach, Lemon Grove, National City, a lot of school board members, my very good friend, Otay Water Board member, Delfina Gonzalez. The bottom line is, our group of coalition of leaders is not only going to work to ensure that District 8 and its residents get our fair share, but all the communities south of 8 do so as well. I'd be honored and humbled to receive the endorsement of the Democratic Women's Club of San Diego County. And I also want to give a quick shout out to my campaign manager, Raquel Marquez Maiden, who's in the audience right now. Thank you for representing me, Raquel. Thank you for being there on my behalf. And again, I'd be humbled and honored to get the endorsement of your club. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Venus Molina, and I'm running for Council District 8 for the City of San Diego. I'm a single mother, I'm a Latina, and I am a lifelong Democrat. I am running because this city needs leaders that will lead with heart and a backbone. I've spent almost 2 decades working at City Hall, one as Chief of Policy for Council District 4, and now as Chief of Staff for Council District 2. I worked on various policies, infrastructure improvements, economic development, public safety, and environmental justice policies that will benefit our communities, not just a chosen few. I know how City Hall works, and I want to make sure that you have a representative that will be there for you and for those voices that are not usually heard. I understand what working women go through, balancing community, family, and career, and yet still expected to be there for everyone else. That's why, as the female leader, I plan to lead with heart and not ego. Okay. When elected, my priorities are very simple. Economic development to support our small businesses and our commercial corridors. Also, infrastructure to ensure that our communities and our neighborhoods are clean and safe. And last, public safety, so that our communities and our neighbors would feel safe regardless of where they live. But as a woman and a mother, I know that reproductive justice is at the heart of equality. Every woman deserves the freedom and the right to make their own healthcare decisions, whether to start a family or raise her children with dignity and support. I'll always defend reproductive rights, access to abortion and contraception, and I'll fight to expand family resources like childcare and daycare, because choice only means something if we give something for the families to thrive. As a member of Mana de San Diego and a participant myself, I've been honored to mentor women through our Latina Success Program. And I'll continue working to ensure that women of color have a seat at the table. District 8 is full of strong women, women who care for their families, run small businesses, volunteer, and hold their neighborhoods together. I want to be a voice to them, to make sure that the issues that matter most to us as women, mothers, and workers are never an afterthought at City Hall. The Women's Democratic Club has always led with conviction and courage. That's the kind of leadership that I believe in too. I would be honored to earn your endorsement and to continue to work to build a more just, inclusive, and compassionate San Diego. I've earned the endorsement of strong Democratic women leaders like Deputy Mayor Carolina Chavez from Chula Vista, Councilmember Teresa Acosta from Carlsbad, Assemblymember Dr. Lachey Collins, past Chula Vista Mayor Mary Salas, and of course, my boss, Dr. Jennifer Camp. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you, Democratic Women's Club of San Diego County, for this opportunity to earn your endorsement. Your mission is to grow women's political power, advance democratic values, and demand fair and equitable treatment for all. I'm excited to share with you my record, my values, and who I champion beside me. My name is Rafael Perez. I'm running for San Diego City Council District 8. I'm a proud feminist, I'm a girl dad, and I'm a husband to Sharina, who does amazing work for Planned Parenthood. I myself am a longtime Planned Parenthood supporter. I volunteer security at major events and help ensure people can show up safely. When the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, I was at a housing conference in Washington, D.C. As soon as I heard the news, I ran out, went to my hotel room, made a sign, and went straight to the Supreme Court steps to protest and stand with those who were mortified at what had just happened. Not planned, not organized, just conviction to do what needed to be done at that moment in history. That's what I do when nobody's watching. And that's who I'll be on the City Council when your rights and representation are on the line. When I've had leadership roles, I've used the opportunity to put women in power. As board chair of Casita Coalition, I helped hire our badass CEO, Norena. At the Sherman Heights Community Center, I was part of the team who helped hire our executive director, Daniela. And when I step out of leadership, I champion women to step into leadership. Catherine at the Casita Coalition, Devana at the Sherman Heights Community Center, Angela and Denise at NARP San Diego. At the Sherman Heights Community Center, under my leadership, we launched Sherman Cocina, a program to help mostly women running home-based food businesses get training and county certifications so they can operate legally, safely, and profitably. That's not theory. That's women gaining real income, stability, and power. My campaign reflects the same values. My core team is women-led, from my consultant, Katie, to the women driving strategy and message. I don't just say, I listen to women, I follow their lead and implement their ideas. I'm a PTA dad at Sherman Elementary, backing an almost all-mom PTA as the vice president, and the only dad elected to the site governance team after we successfully fought to become a community school. Caregiving, schools, and safety are everyone's responsibility, and men need to show up too. As a college educator, I've seen working moms doing it all. When childcare fell through and a mom brought her child to class, I didn't cite the campus policy prohibiting it. I made sure the student felt welcome and accommodated. That's my lens on policy. Does this make women's lives safer, freer, and more secure? If not, we do something about it. On housing and economic justice, I've expanded pathways to homeownership and changed policies on ADUs that especially help women heads of household and women of color. On the Citizens Equal Opportunity Commission, I pushed the city to do better for women-owned and minority-owned businesses. Real accountability, not just talk. I'm proud to be endorsed by women leaders who know my work. Lemon Grove Mayor Ellison Snow, La Mesa Vice Mayor Lauren Cazares, National City Council Member Dita Yamani, and San Diego Community College District Board President Jaisila Arroyo. Women who do their homework and don't just give away endorsements. A candidate who shares power with women, hires and advances women, protects reproductive freedom, and delivers concrete results like Sherman Cocina that put economic power in women's hands. That is the work I will continue on council, and I respectfully ask for your vote of confidence in this endorsement process.
Good evening. My name is Gerardo Ramirez, and I'm running to represent District 8 on the San Diego City Council. First and foremost, thank you to the Democratic Women's Club for the opportunity to speak with you and for the work you do every day to build a more inclusive and equitable San Diego. I was raised in San Isidro by a single mother who worked 3 jobs as a cleaning lady to keep food on the table. Growing up, I saw firsthand what hard work, sacrifice, and resilience look like. By the time I was 12 years old, I was working as a farm worker, harvesting nopales from sunrise to sundown. Those experiences taught me what struggle feels like, but they also showed me the strength in our communities, especially in the women and mothers who hold our neighborhoods together. That foundation is what drives me to serve District 8 today. I earned my degree in sociology from San Diego State University, where I learned about the root causes of wealth inequality and how systems are built to keep certain communities behind. At 21 years old, I walked into City Hall as an intern, determined to change the system from within. a system that too often ignores the people it's supposed to serve. Through hard work and persistence, I became the youngest chief of staff on the San Diego City Council, and for nearly a decade, I've worked directly for the people of District 8, helping secure over $100 million for parks, fire safety, and infrastructure, transforming long neglected areas and broken promises into real projects that serve our families. But even with all that progress, I know that a few years of investment cannot undo decades and generations of neglect. Families in District 8 are still playing catch up, and too many are being squeezed by the rising cost of living, whether it's rent going up, groceries getting more expensive, or the simple cost of raising a family in San Diego. And that's one of the core reasons I'm running, to make District 8 a place where families can afford to stay, grow, and thrive. To make sure the people who built these neighborhoods are not being pushed out of them. And to hold City Hall accountable so resources finally reach the communities that need them the most. When I walk the neighborhoods of District 8, from San Isidro to South Crest, I see the same issues families have raised for generations. Potholes that wreck tires, parks that go dark at night, sidewalks where elders trip, rents that rise faster than paychecks. And behind every broken streetlight or closed library, there's a kid falling behind, or a mother worrying about her child's safety. The reality is that we've been living in two San Diegos for too long. We have one San Diego for the wealthy and well-connected, and one for working families just trying to get by. It's time that we build one San Diego where every neighborhood matters, where every voice is heard, and where opportunity and safety do not depend on your zip code, your income, or your last name. I know what it takes to deliver that because I've already been doing the work, not through photo ops or press releases, but through late night policy battles, early morning cleanups, and years of advocating for the communities that have been overlooked. I'm proud to be running a grassroots campaign fueled by working people, not special interests. And I'm not afraid to challenge the status quo because I've lived the consequences of a system that works for the powerful and leaves the rest of us behind. As someone raised by a strong single mother, and as someone mentored by women leaders, I believe our city is stronger when women's voices, needs, and lived experiences are part of every major decision, especially when it comes to neighborhood safety, affordability, childcare, healthcare, and economic opportunity. These are not side issues. They're part of they're part of what it takes to build a city that truly works for everyone. So today I humbly ask for your endorsement, not just to win an election, but to help us close the gap between two San Diegos, strengthen our neighborhoods, and build a future where families in District 8 finally get the investment and representation they deserve. My name is Gerardo Ramirez, and I would be honored to earn your support because together we can build the future our communities have been waiting for. Thank you.
Okay. I just want to thank all the candidates for agreeing to this platform. I know how much extra work that probably was to record a 5-minute video versus just speaking in person. So I just really appreciate them all agreeing to this. So at this time, we're going to move on to member deliberation for this race. If candidates or campaign representatives are here, we just ask that you step out of the room. And if you're on Zoom, raise your hand and go into the waiting room just for confidentiality and to not participate in this portion, to keep it fair and consistent for all candidates in this race. So give that just a moment.
Thank you guys. Sorry.
Okay, so Stephanie, I'm going to move on with the agenda and then I'll throw back to you for the announcement. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Great. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, of course, I need John for this. So that's. Can I do the budget or no? All right, we're going to go to our treasurer, Beatrice, and we are going to vote on our 2026 budget. This is our last membership meeting for the year. Our December meeting is going to be a social. So this is our last business meeting. So we need to approve our budget for 2026. Beatrice is going to review it for us, and then we'll vote.
So once John posts the budget, I can talk about it. But basically, the budget each year for the Democratic Women's Club, is they similar? Our outgoings, are they fairly constant? And our income is also fairly constant. So I have one of the easiest jobs here. The only thing I want to point out is that we generally have some set outgoings. And this year I've increased the budget for 2 items. One is for postcards and mailings, because if we have in the midterms coming up, I expect everyone to be furiously writing postcards, and those are expensive to send now. So that part of the budget's increased. And also, I vaguely recall that our holiday party in 2026 will be after the election, after the midterms. So either we'll need to celebrate well, or we'll need to help each other well. So I increased the budget for that slightly because midterms are a big year. And this year we have a holiday party in December, I believe.
December 13th.
Lucky, December the 13th. And so I hope to see lots of people there. So yeah, it's the same.
Is there a question about the budget? Any discussion before we entertain a motion to approve? All right, is there a motion to approve the budget as presented? Michelle, and seconded by Nick. All right, all in favor of the budget, members, any member may vote. Please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Beatrice. The budget is approved for 2026.
One last thing. Anyone that joins or rejoins the club after October the 1st, so the two new members today, your membership will continue till the end of the year, and it'll cover 2026. So I encourage people now, if you want to, if you have time and you want to renew your membership for 2026, you'll have it. It'll go to the end of the year, and you'll be able to vote as long as you attend to meetings.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Beatrice. Appreciate that. Okay, the budget. Now we're going to go on to business, unfinished or new. We do have some unfinished business. Mandy wants to come up and share an update.
Thank you all for being here. I wanted to let you know that this past week, I had the profound honor of sharing my story of surviving child marriage along with Frady Reese, who is the founder of Unchained at Last. It's an organization of forced and child marriage survivors who are advocating to change the laws in states to make it 18 years old, no exceptions. So we recently had, I was able to share that along with Chelsea Clinton and the Clinton Global Initiative and Equality Now at the UCLA Promise Institute. And so it was a really great experience to advocate. And I want to share, because this club is a member of the Coalition to Abolish Child Marriage in the United States. We have a report that I'll send on to Kathy that was completed by Unchained at Last regarding the topic. And then there is going to be an assembly bill that is coming in January, February. So we need to get this right. California needs to be the leaders when it comes to protecting children from predatory practices such as child or forced marriage. So that's something that we're going to be bringing back in the state assembly, and I'll bring more action items as I get those details. I'd love to have an opportunity to come back to the club to share more details about that, maybe in February as the club allows. So again, I want to thank you all for your support, for standing with women and children with this human rights violation. And I'll be sure to share more about the Assembly Bill details once I get that. Thank you.
Yes, that's wonderful news. Thank you. Thank you for your tireless advocacy on that. And last month we did have Assemblymember Chris Ward here, and he was telling us about the bill. So we are excited to help get that passed this in the next year. All right, any other unfinished business or new business? All right, let's go on to officer reports. I'll go first. The county convention is coming up on Saturday. That is November 22nd. It's up in Escondido. It's going to be really packed with excellent content. We've got a gubernatorial debate as well as a Congressional District 48 debate. So that's going to be really exciting. And if you're able to go to that, it is open to the public. There's John's busy working on the tabulations, but if you go to the party website, all the information is there, and I will include it in a link tomorrow when I send out the follow-up, or Wednesday when I send out the follow-up email. There was some herstory made in the state today, and I wanted to let Rafael share the herstory that was made in the state legislature.
I was just sharing that today's a historic day. Monique Limon is the new state Senate pro tem and makes history as the first Latina. It's up on the screen. And I actually went to elementary school with her, so I'm excited to see that.
Thank you for sharing that with us. And that is my officer report. I'm going to go to the vice presidents. We've got Susan.
Okay, I have three things. I'm going to first start addressing you as a member of the nominating committee. We have 3 positions that are open. We have one person that's interested in external VP, but we would like to we have treasurer open and then communications. If you have any, a lot of these we can help you learn. If you think that you're almost there, but you're not quite there, we're really good at helping people get to there. So please don't let you think where you're not good enough. And this is I have to say, when I first stepped up for leadership at the party, as I was president of the Point Loma Democratic Club, very first, before I helped found this club. You grow, whatever your skill set is, you're going to grow tremendously in your abilities. This is an amazing way. Leadership within a club is an amazing way to grow your talents and your skills. If you're still working, it really transfers to work. You can put a lot of this stuff on your resume. Oh, I know how to use Zephy, or I know how to use, this or that, or I can help with, I know how to use WordPress, or I can do this. So, okay, so I just want to reach out, and if you want to learn how to do Twitter, or you want to do social media, we can help you on that. We just can't do everything. All right. So come let us know. Come let me know. Lori's on the committee, and so is Angela right there. And if you don't feel comfortable coming tonight, well then, so I wanted to get everybody in the holiday mood. So I thought I would just make sure that you all know there is a a holiday party, a winter party, and it's at John and my house in Mount Helix. So it's centrally located, and there's lots of parking. It's no steps. There's absolutely no steps into our house. So it's going to be December the 13th, which is a Saturday, and I think it's 2:00. Starts 3 to 6, 3 to 6. So there's going to be food. There's going to be lots to drink. Please come. It's a fun house. Our house is historically designated. It's one of the first California ranch houses to be designated historic. So that's the other thing. And there was one other thing, and I can't remember what it was. So I can come back to you.
All right. Let's see. We've already heard from Beatrice tonight. We've got Angela right here. Angela's our media director. Let's hear from Angela.
Well, good evening. Well, I had an announcement, Go for it. Well, good evening, everyone. And I wanted to start by thanking the Democratic Women's Club for always supporting our Women of Color Roar event, which is coming up. It is February 7th, 2026, and it's always the first Saturday in Black History Month. That's how you can remember when it is. How many people have been to Women of Color Roar? Okay. If you have not been, you must come. It is an amazing opportunity to be with community and share. We sponsor 100 high school girls from throughout the county to come as our guest. And this is our 8th anniversary. And we started literally in Susan's house when she had a granny flat. And but that was 9 years ago when we were there. But we've come a long way. We had 600 people this past February. And this year, and I sent John the picture, but he's busy. But this year we are reaching out to really elected officials throughout the state. So we have Mia Bonta, who is an assembly member from Northern California. She's in Alameda County that we're going to be honoring her. We have Sydney Kamlegger Dove, who is a congressperson who replaced Karen Bass from Los Angeles. She will be here. We're honoring her. And then we have our women warriors from San Diego that we're honoring. And then we have one woman that we're honoring that's going to be a surprise. So you have to come to the event to find out who that's going to be. But it's always a very powerful event where we come together, and it's a safe place where we leave our politics outside. We bring our values, but we leave our politics outside, and we come and we celebrate and we have a great time, and the girls get a chance to meet their elected officials and learn really how it is to be a powerful woman. And this year, the theme is Spirit of the Warrior. And so we're thinking about the women who have led and continue to lead. And you see the work that they're doing, these women in Congress and in the Senate. And so I just want to say thank you for your support, and we need help with sponsorships if you know sponsors and people that you can share our information with who might want to buy tickets, and get them early. So thank you so much.
All right, we've got Angela's graphic up. And get your tickets early because there's an early bird discount, and that goes until December 15th. All right, and we've got our Community Relations Director, Elise Pipkin-Allen.
Well, yesterday, I attended Lachey's campaign opening, and it was in La Mesa, and it was in this little small cafe, but it was so nice. There were 6 or 7 politicians there talking about her, starting with Aquila Weber. Just a lot of people from the community and from La Mesa. So that was the most exciting thing I did.
And it's pretty exciting that La Mesa is so blue. Like, it's very exciting. All right, I'm going to go to our membership director and see if she can update. We got 2 new members tonight, so we're thrilled about that.
Right, we have Dana Reed as a new member. And we also have Raquel Maiden. Okay, there we are.
Thank you so much. And just as a reminder, be sure you sign in when you come in, because if you don't, we aren't able to track your attendance. And it's very important on nights like tonight when we're doing an endorsement that we have your correct attendance. All right, so who am I missing? Hannah, do you have anything? You don't have anything. And Susan remembered her third point.
I remembered my last point. Okay, so I know a lot of us are having trauma about what's going on nationally. The drip, drip, drip every single minute. Some of us are on Twitter. You know, we're like, what's happened next, or what? Especially with, I'm talking about the Epstein files. What the Epstein? So It's like a constant nail. Damage, hammer on our heads. I'm going to suggest something that I think that might help. Just get off of Twitter. Just don't pay attention. LibriVox is free. Some of you know what LibriVox is, and they have free audiobooks. Right now I'm going in a deep dive of Jane Austen. Next is the Bronte sisters. Something else that might help get us off Twitter, off politics, off this damaging thing. We can always come back, because the New York Times, they're always going to have, Cox Richardson is always going to have a daily synopsis. Let's just let that be it. And the rest of the time, we listen to something that's more nurturing and more restorative.
All right, thank you, Susan. We've got Amber K. Niatoa is our internal vice president. Amber, do you have a report tonight, or do you want to wait and close off with the mindfulness moment? Is Amber?
I don't have a report tonight, but I do want to echo Susan's sentiments on limiting stressful intake of media. And, set a timer, even if it's your local or national news, to not do more than 20 minutes. You'll be able to get a rundown of everything that happens in that 20 minutes. And if you don't, you'll have a friend or a loved one who will message you or call you or let you know what you missed. So you don't have to live in FOMO with all the chaos that's going on. Audre Lorde said that rest is an act of resistance. So take breaks so that you have the strength to continue, because we got a long way until election year 2026.
All right. Thank you. And we're going to go back to Amber to close the meeting tonight with a little mindfulness moment, but we're going to save that as a gem. Right now, I'm going to toss back to Stephanie because John has tabulated all the results. And I think we're ready to learn whether or not we were able to endorse tonight.
Yes. First, I just want to thank all of the candidates for really seeking our endorsement and understanding the value of what our endorsement holds for you as an elected official and a candidate. So we have the results. And in the 4th round, Rafael Perez received 18 out of the 30 ballots and is now our endorsed candidate. So congratulations, Rafael. We're excited to endorse you.
All right. You froze, Stephanie. Did you say something more?
No, I did not, but there is a storm going outside, so I'm not shocked.
Well, I want to thank you again for your work and thank you to the whole committee. Let's see if I can get everybody's name. John, Beatrice, Susan, Kate, me, and you. Is that everybody?
That sounds right. Yes.
All right. That was our
Yeah.
endorsement committee. And we did have the challenge because we learned that the South Bay Club was doing their endorsements the same night. And Stephanie did come up with the plan to use the videos, which I think worked well. So thank you, Stephanie. Look forward to doing more endorsements with you in January.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Okay, so let's go to announcements. Andy.
Hi, Ann Crosby. I just wanted to let you all know I am the president of the Democratic Education Alliance, and we've decided to become a political action committee so that we can do more to support our endorsed K-12 and community college trustees and those who are interested in running. We're going to be doing trainings and starting probably in January. So if you know anyone who's considering a run, we really need to protect our next generation by making sure that these spaces are with people who care about children, not just some children, but all children. And so if you can help us do that, that would be great. Thank you.
What a perfect segue. So I was up here earlier. My other hat is I am one of the co-chairs of the county party's candidate recruitment, evaluation, and development committee. And we are always, always, always looking for good candidates to run for things like school board and city council. Obviously, we find great candidates like Rafael and all the other candidates that run water districts, any special districts, fire protection districts, especially if you live in the unincorporated areas of the county or in the smaller cities. We are actively looking for candidates for Poway City Council. I know you all saw what happened on election night. We need a Democratic candidate in Poway for that seat. But the county party is going to be doing much more with our recruited candidates, training them how to run a good campaign, and also, work together. And thank you, Anne, for their training. That's amazing. And we're going to work with them, and we're going to come to the clubs and teach you all how to recruit candidates and what to tell potential candidates when you're talking to the people who might be interested in running for something. And we're going to give you that information as well. So look for that in the coming months.
Hi, so I realize I said nothing about the California Democratic Party. So as your regional director, let it not be said. So January 17th is our pre-endorsement meeting, and that's going to be taking place at the San Diego Educators Association at 9 in the morning. It is an opportunity to talk to your candidates. I will send my links are always on the website of the local party. So sddemocrats.org. I always put it on the calendar. So any Democrat is welcome to come to our regional meetings. You don't have to be a delegate. But I do want to encourage anyone that has an interest in going to San Francisco, February 19th through the 22nd, at the Moscone Center. That's where the Democratic Party California Democratic Party will be holding the convention. So, and that's the final endorsements for the constitutional officers, et cetera, et cetera. So just putting that on people's radar, and you can always be a volunteer. So talk to me if you have an interest. And notice I'm carrying my whistle all the time now, because you just never know when there's another strike that you see.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks for having. Okay, so my name's Indra. I'm going to be wearing my API Democratic Club hat right now because I really just want to thank the Democratic Women's Club for co-sponsoring our immigration panel back in October. Kathy, you came, a bunch of y'all came online. We heard some fairly heart-wrenching stories of people who were snatched away from their homes, disappeared on their way to their father's funeral. We were hearing about women who've had kids in this country, lived in this country for 50 years and were disappeared by ICE. And it was heartbreaking, but again, the support that y'all showed us, the API community is really under siege right now. We just found out in North Carolina that, am I allowed to curse? I don't want to curse. The S word the S word birds went from Chicago down to North Carolina. I get angry and amped up when I think about it, but again, just want to thank y'all for that, and then put something on y'all radar. We're going to be last year we held an API Women in Politics panel. As many of you read, CNN is pointing out that South Asian women, API women are again under assault because of the horrific rhetoric from the right. We're going to be putting another panel together of API women in politics. We're currently getting that together. I'll reach out to y'all. I know we can talk more, but again, I just wanted to come up here and thank you for the support for the API community. Appreciate y'all.
And a job well done on that forum. All right, Andrea.
Hey, thanks. Hey, everyone. Thank you for a great meeting. I just want to bring people's attention to an event the ACLU is partnering with for a number of other groups, December 1st from 12 to 1:30, focused on countering democratic backsliding and fighting against authoritarianism. So this will have a world's expert on authoritarian regimes. His name is Hardy Merriman, and the leaflet is there. You should know the ACLU, both national and local, is really putting a lot of effort into trying to prevent the next election being stolen. So you can be assured that there's a ton of effort at the national level, at every level, thinking about approaches to counter the push. If you're following the news at all, you'll know that there's red lights flashing from judicial systems, from pressure on folks that oversee the elections. So we're kind of pushing on all of those things, but you guys can do your job too, right? Like participating and overseeing and countering protests that are intended to intimidate our elections. So where you can all get involved. And I think this is something, hopefully we can have a sense of empowerment that we can do this, make sure that the elections are safe for everyone.
Thank you, Andrea. All right, just also one last thing. Don't forget we have an app. It's free. You can search it anywhere you get your apps, DWC-SD, and you can have the app on your phone for all of our emails, meetings, reminders, everything that we do will pop up on the app for you. All right, we are the only club that has an app. And Mary said she appreciated the app, keeping her up to date and reminding her to come to the meetings. All right, we're at the end of the agenda. I'm going to toss it back to Amber Kay. We normally start out the night with a mindfulness moment, but tonight she wasn't able to start with us tonight, but she is able to end the meeting for us. Go ahead, Amber.
Thank you so much, Kathy. Hello, everyone. Great way to end our evening before our drive home or settling in. So I'm going to invite you to just sit up tall, and we're just going to loosen up our shoulders and then do a quick little breath exercise, and we'll be on our way. So just some regular shoulder drops. You should feel any tension that you're holding completely releasing down, releasing from the shoulder blades off those arms. If you're standing like Kathy, you'll even feel it dripping off the fingertips and releasing off the wrists a little more. Then we'll take our hands onto our shoulders, and you can go opposite or together for big shoulder circles. Good for that forward posture, releasing blocked energy, loosens up our neck and shoulders. Going the other way. We always want to go both directions. Increasing our flexibility in the upper back and movement and circulation through our arms. Then we're just going to let it come down. We're going to take our right hand And we're gonna get ready to place it on our left nostril with our right nostril with our right thumb. So we're gonna exhale and get rid of all of the air through our mouth. We're gonna plug off the right nostril. You're gonna breathe in through the left for 4 seconds. You're gonna switch the pinky to block off the left and open the right as you hold, and then breathe out of the right. Breathe in through the right. Block off the right as you hold your breath and open the left, and out of the left. In through the left. Hold as you switch. You can close your eyes if you like as well. Out through the right. In through the right. Pause as you switch. And out. Complete 4 more rounds at your own pace. You can add the mantra if you like. I am able to give and receive love. Is us intentionally setting love as a collective together is very powerful in a world that needs it. I am able to give and receive love. One more round. Finish exhaling through the left. And you can let the hand come down and just take note of your breathing. This is called nadi breathing or alternate nostril breathing. It restores balance in breathing patterns. It equalizes our energy in the right and left sides of the brain and our nervous system. It has a nice stilling effect, so hopefully you feel that with your mind and emotions. Enhances calm, clear, emotional state, and stimulates our center of intuition and connection to our heart and higher self. So may we lead with love through the rest of this year as we've got battles ahead, but that doesn't mean we can't do it with open hearts and open minds. So thank you so much. May you all have a great evening, and namaste.
Thank you, Amber. We've reached the end of our agenda. The meeting is adjourned. Please look for your email on Wednesday. I will send out all the notes from this meeting, including links from the candidates, event links, information. If there's something that you don't see, just reach out to me via email and I will try to get it for you. Thank you so much. Please get home safely, and we'll see you on December 13th at Susan and John's house. And that link will be coming shortly as well. Good night, everyone.